You don't feel sad, you don't feel empty either. Life is moving, things are happening, but the spark is gone. Not dramatically, quietly. You wake up, go through your day, and nothing really pulls you forward anymore. Good news lands flat. Plans feel neutral. Even things you once waited for now feel like, okay, that's it. And what makes it worse is that you remember how excitement used to feel, which means you know something changed. If this keeps happening to you, listen carefully. This is not boredom, it's not depression, and it's not that you've become cold or ungrateful. What you're experiencing is a psychological shift that happens when the brain learns too much, adapts too well, and protects too often. Excitement is not a personality trait, it's a response, a chemical and emotional reaction created by uncertainty, anticipation, and emotional risk. And the first reason excitement fades is because your brain no longer sees uncertainty as rewarding, it sees it as costly. Earlier in life, excitement came easily because outcomes were unknown. You didn't know how things would end, you didn't know who you'd become. That uncertainty created dopamine. But over time, your brain starts recognizing patterns. You've seen how plans usually go. You know how people usually act. You understand that most highs don't last. Once your brain predicts outcomes too accurately, it stops releasing anticipation chemicals. Not because life is worse, but because it's familiar. Another reason people stop getting excited is emotional self-protection. Many people don't realize this, but their excitement was punished in the past. They got their hopes up and were disappointed. They trusted moments that didn't deliver. They attached meaning to things that faded. So the brain quietly learns a rule. Don't rise too high, it hurts more when you fall. This isn't negativity, it's conditioning. Your nervous system lowers emotional peaks to reduce future crashes. That's why you may notice this pattern. You want to feel excited, but your body doesn't follow. Your mind says, this should be exciting, but your nervous system says, stay neutral. The gap between those two creates frustration, and people mislabel that frustration as emptiness when it's actually restraint. There's also something called stimulation saturation. Modern life overstimulates the brain constantly. Content, messages, news, opinions, pressure, comparison. Your dopamine system is always engaged, rarely resting. When everything demands attention, nothing feels special. So excitement doesn't disappear suddenly, it gets diluted, like sound in a noisy room. Your brain isn't understimulated, it's overexposed. This is why people say, nothing excites me anymore, while still being busy all the time. Their system never resets, and excitement requires contrast. Calm before anticipation, silence before intensity. Without that contrast, the emotional system flattens. Another layer is emotional maturity. As people grow psychologically, they stop chasing feelings blindly. They understand consequences. They see behind outcomes. That awareness stabilizes life, but it also dulls spikes. You don't get excited about things you can already predict emotionally. You're not numb, you're calibrated. But society doesn't celebrate calibration, it celebrates visible enthusiasm. There's also a hidden fatigue most people ignore. Excitement takes energy. Anticipation costs mental resources. If your life already feels demanding, emotionally, socially, mentally, your brain conserves energy instead of spending it on future highs. That's why excitement often feels like effort now, not because the activity is bad, but because your system is already tired. And then there's identity friction. Earlier, excitement came from becoming someone new, a new version of you. But once your identity solidifies, change feels heavier. Excitement thrives on transformation. Stability reduces it. So people who are self-aware, reflective, or grounded often report less excitement even though they're more aligned internally. Growth becomes quieter. Another uncomfortable truth is this: sometimes excitement fades because your life no longer matches what actually matters to you. Not what looks impressive, not what you are supposed to want. Your brain will not generate excitement for paths that don't feel authentic, even if they're socially rewarded. So instead of feeling excited, you feel neutral. That neutrality is often your system asking for honesty, not stimulation. Many people try to fix this by forcing excitement. More plans, more goals, more noise. But excitement doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to safety and space. When your nervous system finally rests, sensitivity returns. That's why excitement sometimes shows up unexpectedly, during a quiet walk, a small idea, a simple moment. Not because life improved, but because your system had room to feel again. There's an important distinction people miss. Excitement is not the same as joy. Excitement is sharp, loud, fast. Joy is slow, grounded, subtle. Many people who don't get excited anymore still experience deep contentment. They just don't feel fireworks. And the world keeps telling them fireworks equal happiness. If you don't get excited anymore, it doesn't mean you're broken. It usually means your brain has adapted, protected, matured, or outgrown certain patterns. The problem isn't that excitement left, it's that you're judging yourself for not feeling it the way you used to. Instead of asking, how do I feel excited again, the better question is, what does my nervous system need right now? Less noise, less pressure, more honesty, more alignment. Excitement isn't something you chase, it's something that returns when your system feels safe enough to respond again. And sometimes, not getting excited anymore isn't a loss, it's a transition. From chasing feelings to understanding them, from reacting to choosing, from intensity to depth. And once you stop fighting that shift, you realize something important. You didn't lose excitement, you outgrew the version of it that no longer fits you.
Losing excitement doesn't mean you're broken, ungrateful, or dead inside. It usually means your nervous system has learned to protect itself from disappointment, overload, or emotional whiplash. Excitement comes back not when you force positivity, but when you rebuild safety, meaning, and small moments of genuine engagement. Your job isn't to feel more, it's to feel safe enough to feel again. If this hit a little too close to home, don't scroll away. Subscribe for psychology videos that explain what you feel without judging it, and watch the next one with a calmer mind.